Yep. Any takers on how fast you're spinning right at this moment at the equator? 1,000 miles an hour. 1,000. Yep. That's what they told us, right? That's pretty fast.
Stay out of the damn sand.
All right, you ready for a good one? In Chicago, where Chicago's located, there's Lake Michigan. From one end of the shore of Lake Michigan to Chicago, it's across Lake Michigan. It's 50 miles across. Have you heard this one? Yeah. What do you think about that? Is that interesting to you at all or not? Well, no. I'm sorry. I thought you'd heard the actual proof. So over a distance of 50 miles, there should be 1,700 feet of curvature. The tallest building in Chicago is 1,700 feet tall. You shouldn't be able to see Chicago, the skyline in Chicago, on a ball Earth. Earth is flat, I think. Who wants to know how fast you're spinning right at this moment? Anybody know? 1,000 miles an hour you're spinning. Hard to believe. 1,000 miles an hour we're spinning right at this moment.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe, isn't it?
It really is. You don't think so.
You don't feel it, do you?
I realize no.
No. We orbit the sun in an elliptical manner, so we speed up and we slow down, and yet you don't feel any change in motion on that either, do you?
It's really amazing.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe. I actually have looked into it, and I don't know, have you heard about flat Earth at all?
Not really.
You haven't? Well, there's a number of people who, if you look out on YouTube, you'll see that there's a large amount of people now are starting to question whether we actually live on a ball that's spinning 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. And as preposterous as it sounds, because it is insane, right, to hear something like this, when I looked into it, if you have 1 second, I'll give you great proof.
Yeah.
Lake Michigan is 50 miles across. You can look 50 miles across Lake Michigan, and you can see the skyline of Chicago on a good day. On a ball Earth, the size they tell us, using the Pythagorean theorem, you use spherical geometry, and at 8 inches per mile squared would describe an Earth the size that they've told us. Well, over that distance, you should have 1,700 feet of curvature of the Earth. Okay, are you with me?
Okay.
So now, 1,700 feet of curvature beyond the horizon, that is. So you can see out about 3 miles or so, and beyond that horizon, you're going to have 1,700 feet where the Earth is going to dip down at 50 miles. The tallest building in Chicago is the Sears Willis Tower, whatever that is.
I think so.
Okay, that's approximately 1,700 feet tall. I think Chicago is about 200 feet above sea level. Anyhow, long story short, you can see on a good day the entire Chicago skyline. That should be impossible on a ball Earth, shouldn't it? Now they do give you reasons for it. I don't want to leave out what the ball Earth explanation is. They tell us that it's a mirage. Literally, that's what they say. You're seeing a mirage. One of the people who's into flat Earth, his name is Rob Skiba. He actually he challenged that, and so what he did is he rented a boat, and he got lucky, and he got it on a day when you could see, because you can't always see across the lake and see Chicago. Well, he actually was able to see Chicago. He took the boat, videotaped it the whole way across, and the whole time he was videotaping Chicago. So was he really videotaping a mirage the whole time? Right. So that's just like a little starter taste for you. If you just Google, or if you not Google, I would go.
That's actually an interesting point. I never really thought about that.
Right. How did we learn about it? We learned about it in school when you're vulnerable. At 4, 5, 6 years old, they put a freaking globe on there,
Yeah,
and they tell you
like a
stick on
round
it,
ball.
and you go, what? I stick up something. I can stick.
You think you're like a little ball in
Right.
the sky with all the
Yeah.
other planets.
You know that the Bible. I was a hardcore atheist. I'm 47 years old, and I've been a hardcore atheist, like rude too. Like if you believed in God, I was like, what are you, foolish? You know, the Big Bang evolution, right? Well, it's crystal clear in the Bible. Not to become like a Bible thumper, but I will a little bit. That it talks about the earth being firm and immovable. It talks about it. You know the Truman Show movie with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
It has a freaking dome over it, right? And that's how they describe it in the Bible with the firmament. And if you look in Genesis, I never read it before, but now I'm reading it, and it literally talks about that. It talks about in the Bible. It talks about God stopping the sun and the moon, but He doesn't talk about stopping the earth. Why? How could He stop just the sun and the moon if we're all right? So there's a lot of discrepancies in there, and there's so much evidence that I'm not trying to convince anybody tonight, but what I am trying to do is just get people to open their minds up. We've been lied to, I think, about a lot of things.
Cool, actually. I don't really know. I never thought about it.
Yeah. I would say, if you're interested, there's it's not just this too. A flat Earth, for me, isn't just about the flat Earth. It's about our government, what's going on, and there's so many things that you go, why is this happening? And as you delve into it, there's a lot of answers.
Oh yeah, you'll get if you go on the internet, you'll get a billion. You'll get so much.
But I mean, the thing is that it seems like the internet has enabled us to communicate with one another now and pass along this information. And to be honest, they're actually shutting down and censoring a lot of people, and they demonetized flat Earth videos, so to make it so it's even harder for people to actually promote this stuff. Yeah. So it's strange that they would do that. Why would you know what I mean? Are they hiding something? I don't know.
That's really cool.
Cool, man. Thanks. Have a great night.
You too.
Any guesses on how fast we're spinning right at this moment at the equator? You guys would be the first people to answer it. 1,000 miles an hour you're moving. Yeah. It's pretty fast.
Sight. There's nothing in sight that's going to help you, Right. Pretty easy.
Oh my God, the Earth is flat.
Nice.
I agree.
I have flat earthers. Have you guys looked into it? You know how fast they say you're spinning right now at this second?
How fast?
1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Do you feel that?
Nah.
Do you feel like it?
I do.
You feel it?
What are we on a piece of paper.
I think it's check your Bible, man. It says clearly what we're on. Bible always scares everybody.